right, everybody, we're going to get this show on the road. We are here today to celebrate a few things. The passing of the fiscal year budget for next year. But most important, yes, we can clap for that. But most importantly today, the opening of the brand new Towanda Aquatic Center. And as you can see, we have been joined by a plethora of individuals, and I will go through them all right now. We have been joined today by our City Council President, Zeke Cohen. Thank you, Mr. President. Someone who is no stranger to these parts, our Council Vice President, Sharon Middleton. Our City Administrator, Faith Leach. We also have our state senator from the 41st district, senator, delegate. See his muscle memory. Senator Dahlia Attar, Delegate Sean Stinnett, and with that, we will move into the non-Park Heights portion of the elected officials. We have Dr. Councilman John Bullock from the 9th district. Councilwoman Felicia Porter from the 10th District. Councilman Perk Gray from the 8th District. Councilman Zach Blanchard from the 11th District. And now we'll move to the east side. Councilman Jermaine Jones from the 12th District. Councilman Mark Parker from the 1st District. Councilwoman Odette Ramos from the 14th District. And if you're wondering who's this nice young lady standing next to me, this is Miss Sarah, who greeted me when I first walked into the door of Towanda Rec Center in the year way back in the old ages, young people, in the fall of 1989. So I asked her to stand up here, and in a minute you'll hear from her, because I often believe, and I tell people all the time, that this building helped to save not just my life, but so many people that grew up in this neighborhood's life, including a gentleman who's back there in an orange t-shirt running his mouth right now. But we owe that to Miss Sarah, Coach G, Coach Randy, all the folks that worked here all those many years. So good afternoon, everybody. And before we begin, I want to take some time to address the fatal police-involved shooting that happened last week. I fully understand the pain and trauma that our residents and the community are feeling right now. And all of us, I want to be very clear about that, all of us wish that this incident never happened. I had the chance to speak to Detective Yancey over the weekend, who thankfully was not injured more seriously. I am grateful to his dedication and the dedication of all of his colleagues at BPD who work to make Baltimore safer each and every day, the same thing that they were doing that fateful day. I also had the opportunity to speak with members of the Abdullah family, who obviously are grieving the loss of their son. And we should not allow anybody to be reduced to the worst moments of their life or circumstances around their death. But I'm going to be very clear. We cannot and will not allow individuals to carry and use illegal guns against police officers or anybody else in Baltimore without there being repercussions. We are committed to continuing to break the cycle of violence in our city. And that means taking a comprehensive approach to public safety. Our approach includes resources to people who find themselves in the need of help and who want to make a change off of the wrong path and live a better life. If that's you, if that's someone who you know, please reach out to us. We are here to help you. Do that right now. But situations like these are devastating, regardless of the specifics of the case, and I know that we laid that out very clearly today with the release of the footage. That the description that the police gave that first day is exactly how this incident happened. There is no ambiguity to that. The fact that this took place in Upton, a community that has lost so many folks over the years to gun violence, makes it even more painful. And my team almost immediately stood up a coordinated neighborhood response in the area to support residents. They were there the next day. They are there right now today. And we're working with the Attorney General here in his office as they complete their independent investigation and will fully abide by all things in doing that. This is just the beginning of the healing process, and we will see it through to the end. And that brings us to why we are here today. When we talk about public safety resources, we often don't think about places like this. But investments in rec centers and pools and communities are investments in our communities and investment into building public safety. They support physical and mental health. They create opportunities for young people and provide spaces for folks to gather on good days and bad days, and especially on hot days like today. That's why, as an administration, we have built or renovated 25 new playgrounds, 6 rec centers, and 4 pools as of today. But I think that we have another one this week, another one on Wednesday, where we'll make it 5. And it's why my budget for the next fiscal year funds 3 new pools, this one included, and 3 new rec centers. And that's why I've decided to sign the budget here today at one of the many new pool facilities that we're building together across Baltimore. This one obviously is important to me, especially important to me because I grew up here. I went to this rec center each and every day. And as some of you have heard me say before, when I was a pre-K student at Malcolm X Primary School, this was also my gym each and every day. In addition to those rec centers and pools, this budget will help us repave over 100 miles of road in Baltimore. I'm going to say that one again. Repave over 100 miles of road in Baltimore. Increase affordable housing options and expand public safety investments that will help prevent violence and supporting healing. This is about building a city where every Baltimorean is safe, supported, and successful. We aren't there yet, but we can get there. And this budget, which we work together to help pass, will help us do that. I want to thank the council president and all of the council, but I really want to also thank the chairwoman, Councilwoman McCray, for leading and negotiating, Mr. President, on behalf of the council, but also showing leadership in doing that. We've also been joined by Delegate Melissa Wells, and fresh off a plane, we have been joined by Dr. Director Reggie Moore, who has made it back to join us today, because this is what this process looks like. Everybody working together to put forth a budget that does what is best for Baltimore City. And before I turn it over who I know will be the star of today's press conference, I am now going to turn it over to Ms. Sarah, because I think it's important for us to hear from our elders and for those who know what this place looks like when it wasn't invested in, before we pass it off to the future. Ms. Sarah?
Good afternoon. I worked at Towanda. Well, I live in the neighborhood up the street. And I had 4 children. And they were all in the rec center. I knew where they were. And they all still good. I remember when they used to have a portable pool sitting on the field. Then they built a new pool that most of the time the children were vandalizing. And I hope they don't do that this time. I hope so, because it's somewhere for them to go. But I enjoyed working at Towanda for 18 years until they transferred me over to Northwood. I'm now retired now. Yep. And I see children and they respect me. The teenage boys will say, y'all got to be quiet, here come Miss Foster. So I appreciate that. And Malcolm X was a good school for everybody. They would come over to the rec center. We had all kinds of activities for them. And I loved it. And I'm still in the neighborhood. Yep, I've raised 4 children. And they all doing well. Thank you.
Thank you. We won't talk about one of those children who ejected me from a baseball game one time. We'll talk about that later, Miss Sarah. Next, we are going to hear from the star of today's press conference, a rising fifth grader at Crater City Public Charter School, which is now in the Malcolm X building. Make a round of applause for Pamela Green.
Hi, my name is Pamela Green, and I am a rising fifth grader at Creative City Public Charter School. This is a great day to be together here at Towanda Recreation Center to celebrate the opening of our neighborhood pool. Like all the kids in Park Heights area, I need something fun to do on my summer break. I want to learn things. I want to meet new friends. I want to meet new friends and families in my community in a safe and healthy environment. I want to learn about teamwork, self-discipline, and do more physical activities. Having a great program at our local recreation center, especially with a pool like this one, can do that. My principal grew up in Park Heights. She always said she was raised by the village. A thriving Towanda Recreation Center will also build stronger bonds between generations of people. The elders can share their life experiences and knowledge, and kids like me can teach them new things, like new technologies and even the new dances and songs. Open communication and mutual respect brings the village back, and it is a win for the whole community. Now it is hot today, and I'm excited to get into this beautiful pool to have a safe and fun time. Thank you.
Amen to that. And for the elected officials who aren't dressed appropriately for jumping in the pool, I will just say that former state senator Jill Carter raised the bar as she jumped in a pool in full dress clothes a few weeks ago. So your attire is no longer an excuse to not jump in the pool. Next, we will hear from our developer on this project, and we want to thank them very much. We're going to hear from Monica from Cannon Design. Monica?
All right. Woo! Is it dripping down every part? So we'll make it quick. I want to thank Mayor Scott, City of Baltimore, Director Moore, Department of Rec and Parks for giving me a few minutes to say hello and thank you for collaborating with us on this project. This is one pool, but there are many, as you've heard already, that the city is opening up this summer and the new funds. It's really part of a really bold movement that we see a lot of other cities are doing the opposite. They're closing. So credit to the city and to all the agencies and groups that work together to make this happen, because we really see that when we have amenities like this, they bring positive impact to the communities, social equity, personal health, being able to come to a facility. Bringing together communities is just a part of this. So thank you for allowing us to be part of this. I'm very proud to have been a part of it and to continue our work with you all. And for the community, it's been our vision to see kids jump in the pool today. And we're going to get to see kids of all ages jump in the pool today. So thank you so much from Cannon Design. We've really appreciated being part of this. Appreciate it.
All right. Next, we will hear from Dr. Director Moore.
Good afternoon, everyone. I assure you this is going to be quick, but for me, what's so exciting is just not about the swimming pool, but when you look around the renovations that's been at Towanda, including the rec center, when you look, some of you may recall the old playground. That playground looks amazing. The renovation of the basketball court. So I just want to thank Mayor Scott, the entire administration, the elected officials, everyone who continues to support Rec and Parks and continue to find ways to find funding so that we can continue to improve and enhance our communities. And I also, since we're in the middle of Code Red, continue to make sure that you monitor our social channels. We've made some modifications. We've made some adjustments to our schedule. So please stay cool, stay out the heat, stay hydrated. And Mr. Mayor, I think that's all I'm going to say.
Thank you. And we also, I wanted to make sure that we uplift two people who are always behind the scenes, but sorry about that, WBL. Always behind the scenes, but that often don't get public recognition. We don't do this work alone. No one can do this work alone. And when it comes to the budget and making the budget, there are two particular people who do a lot of work that I want to recognize today. So I want to, for all of us, to recognize and give big applause for our city administrator, Faith Leach, and our budget director, Laura Lawson. Laura, where are you? Don't hide, Laura. Don't hide. Don't hide. And with that, I will turn it over to our council president, who is we'll turn it over to our vice president, Councilwoman Middleton, and then we will be getting in the water. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Brief public service announcement. It is hot. Drink water. Really proud of the work that the city council, the mayor, the administrator, everyone did together for this budget. I think it's important to uplift that at a time where we're seeing our federal government really struggle to do anything collaboratively, to do anything meaningful together. In Baltimore, we work together to pass a budget that works for all of us. I want to thank community that showed up and pushed us. I want to thank my colleagues, particularly Chair McCray. I want to thank the mayor's team. There were hard questions. There were active negotiations and debate. And I think it is that kind of creative tension that makes us all stronger. I was proud of the product that we collectively produced. The focus on public safety, accountability, supporting our immigrant community in this moment, our elders, the young people, all of it. And it was good to be part of a process that folks put aside their egos, worked together, and produced a budget that I think is really good for Baltimore. So again, I want to thank Mayor Scott and his team. I want to thank all of my colleagues for showing up in the way that they did. And I want to thank Baltimore. This is my first time as council president doing this, but I think it set a really strong blueprint and foundation for how we work together and how we come to a budget that does speak to our values as a city that believes in investing in our people. And so with that, proud to pass it off to my vice president, councilwoman for this district, VP, Madam Vice President Middleton.
Thank you. Hello, Park Heights! I first of all do want to thank all of my colleagues for coming on this hot day for support. It's all about supporting each other. And a double thank you to our Mayor Brandon Scott. 18 is the magic number, as you just said. 18 plus years ago is when I became a council person, and now Mayor was working and beginning to get that job with Rec and Parks and learning the importance of that office. And when I came in, just quickly, they were about to tear down and close Towanda. And it was a very wonderful PAL Center operating here. That's when I came on board and started the partnership. Got to give a shout out to the Boys and Girls Club, because they helped keep this area going and that rec center going. And then this is just a wonderful ending with the wonderful use of ARPA funds. You can't have it any better. I remember when it was just, the pools were beat up. We were constantly getting new roofs. But the people in this community, the strong people and leaders in this community, just would never give up. It's a true testament to keeping hope alive. And look what we have today on this I think right now, the hottest day so far of the year. And I just want to let my colleagues know, look, it took 18 years for this to happen. 18 years. And it just shows how you have to stick with your communities and keep things moving. Somewhere they started taking away and dismantling the black community. I can get deep with this, but this is an example right here, bringing back our playgrounds, bringing back our libraries, bringing back all of the places that we work together, meet together, party together. It was dismantled, and now it's coming back, and we're on the move. So I can't thank everyone that played a role in this, every single person. This community is so thankful, and I am too.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. So we have a little bit of official business to get to here. I'm going to first assign the ordinance of estimates so we can make it official. There we go, Mr. President. It has been signed. I will move on to the property tax rate. It is the same. It did not go up, everybody. That is official now. And last but certainly not least, the FY26 schools budget is now official. Congratulations, everybody. Congratulations. And with that, we'll take questions from the media quickly before we move to the second portion here.
If you have a question, you can come to the mic. You can come to the mic here. If you have a question for our members of the media.
Oh, I got to turn it up.
Mr. Mayor.
Oh, hold on, Jeff. Try talking again.
Yeah, 1, 2, 1,
You
2.
good? Now you good. Go ahead.
I'm just wondering, this is the largest budget, as you know, that the city has ever seen, and there's some concern that we're still spending a lot of money, and when compared to other years when the population was greater, our budgets were less. I mean, how do you justify this?
Well, there's a little thing to talk about money. $1 million 20 years ago is not $1 million today, right? I think most people have the common sense to understand that, and also that the costs have risen. We obviously are paying our employees, like our police officers, more. We obviously have more investment, right? If you look at Rec and Parks budget today, it is not what it used to be because we actually believe in Rec and Parks, right? You're talking about a Rec and Parks budget that has grown 40% in my time in office. And I think that if you ask the average Baltimorean, they would say investing it into our young people, into rec centers, into pools, is their tax dollars being very well spent.
Just quickly, I'm circling back to the police involved shooting, which you addressed earlier. I know you said that you support your officers, that their actions were justified. Is there anything that you would have preferred to see them do differently in response to that incident, or do differently in facing the same incident again in the future?
No.
And as the video is being released, I just wanted to know, what's your hope in terms of how it is received by the community?
Well, listen, I said this to my own staff over the weekend and then again today. There is no good way to watch somebody die, right? Especially when they're shot, no matter how that happens. But what I hope Emily happens is that everyone understands the totality and the need for and why. It's another example about why we need all these other things to continue to get better, right? Why we need to have better help for mental health and services that we need, and why we need to live in a place where men, and particularly black men, can feel safe in saying that they need that and not feel shamed upon. And we push our friends to do that. While we have to continue to understand that this attack that we have on the flow of illegal guns into the city is a real thing, and why we have to focus on that, and why we have to still have constitutional policing that allows the police to do their job as they did that day. Because you're talking about a situation that wasn't just dangerous for the police officers or the now deceased, but this is Pennsylvania Avenue. Who knows where his bullets and who knows where they've hit? We've seen time and time again innocent bystanders be hit. It's an unfortunate situation, but I just hope that everyone takes in the totality of the facts and the things that they see and not limited to one particular part.
Thank you. Hi, Mayor Scott. This is Brooke Conrad with the Baltimore Sun.
Hi, Brooke.
I am just.
Hold on, Brooke. 1 second. Subway's coming, so it's hard for us to hear. When you hear that, boop, boop. Go ahead, you're good.
Okay. How do you justify raises for city officials, including your chief of staff, given all of the different needs in the city budget?
So I think we've discussed this with you all multiple times, right? And can you repeat the second part of your question?
Given all of the different needs in the city budget.
So I think that again, first of all, the chief of staff didn't get a raise. He got a new position that has a higher salary. So if you grow from your position to being the editor, you're probably going to get an increase in your salary. That's how it works when you grow up in your job. But I think that we have to also be reminded that our workers themselves, right? We're talking about a year last year, and we're in negotiations again this year. We'll be raising the salaries for our union workers as well, because we have to invest in our workforce in order to have the best and the brightest. You all, we know you might try to make this about my office, but this is about making sure that Baltimore has the best and the brightest. And that team that we have built in the city has helped us get violence down to its lowest point in 50 years, has helped us to do things in ways that we haven't in the past, and we're going to continue to invest. Because when you hear from our workers across the city, you hear about the disparity that we're trying to close between them and their counterparts, not just in other cities, but in the local jurisdictions around us.
The salary increase was an 80% increase almost. Is that justified?
So again, I think there's you can ask the question, but what your question is not based in facts. It's not an increase in a salary from one position to the next. For example, if I was the deputy police commissioner and then I became the police commissioner, I'm obviously going to make a lot more money as the police commissioner than the deputy police commissioner. This is no different. Thank you.
No additional questions.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Now we can cut the ribbon and get in the pool.
3, 2, 1.